caring about their business, and just expanding on that, be a person, right? Understand where they're coming from, understand your impact on their business, then go in and care about their business so that good things happen. And when good things happen because of you, they're going to care about your business as well.
That trust point is critical, right? So you start out with a customer relationship where they trust you enough to have a business relationship of some type of exchange, some type of business exchange, right? But then you have to build trust. Like, just because they trust you enough to remotely control their systems, right? You think, well, clearly the customer trusts me. They're giving me like God mode access to everything, right? But that's how a technologist thinks, right? That's not how a small business owner thinks, right? They're thinking, well, clearly you're in the business of remote controlling computers, so I can trust you to remote control computers. They're not necessarily trusting you to make decisions for them, make business decisions for them, make risk decisions, spending decisions for them. So you have to build your way there, and you talk about some of those touch points. When do you know you're there? Or is it a gradual thing? And on some point, it really doesn't matter when, right? The important thing is when that pressure point comes along that pushes the customer into investment, right? That you're on the other side of some kind of conversion moment, right? So is there a point where you say, okay, this customer now considers me trusted advisor? Or you just act like a trusted advisor and they trust you when they trust you?
I think there's 2 points, right? One point is when the customer comes to you and tells you they need something, right? And you have to ask. I mean, you have to, as an MSP, you need to protect yourself. And not just, I'm not saying protect yourself like your customer's bad, saying protect yourself. Like, ask the customer and say, hey, if we're going to go down this route, I'm going to need to have access to all this. Is that okay? Ask them at the beginning before the engagement starts. That way you can get it all on the table and find out, right? I mean, just because you don't want to commit yourself to something and then find out down the road that your hands are tied. But the other part of that is start to ask the questions back to the customer, like before it even gets to that point, right? And you start to ask them, hey, have you guys been tracking this new compliance change? Have you been tracking this, NIST 171 Rev 3? Are you guys, is that on your radar? Have you updated your system security plan? Ask the questions proactively, even if you're not involved in their compliance at that point, but ask them. Because once you start to ask them, they're going to say, hey, wait, this guy's actually paying attention to what I'm doing in my business, and they're concerned about the success of my business, right? And it doesn't mean that it's going to result in you going out and being their compliance management firm. It doesn't mean that you're going to be able to sell more gear to them, but ask the question, because if you ask it, it shows that you're looking out for them. And then you'll start to get a lot more feedback like that too. And you'll find out things from your customer that you didn't even realize. Like, the next thing you know, you're going to say, wow, it's like I'm integrated into this team.
Here's the other side of that. If you don't ask the questions, your client is going to think that you might not care, or that they might get that perception. Maybe they won't. But if you don't ask the questions, you don't have the information you need. And if your client is savvy enough to understand that you don't have the information you need, then they can start to make more extrapolations about what's happening. So, I mean, it may be uncomfortable to say to a client, we're going to do, you want to do A, B, and C. For us to do A, B, and C, we'd have to do X, Y, and Z. And because of that, are you comfortable with G and F? And if it's uncomfortable sometimes to put that on the table, because you might hear no, right? Or you might have somebody say, no, actually, I don't want we can't go forward with the work.
So start building trust in the customer relationship, not just by, being a technician, right? But actually dropping those hints, giving them that guidance, establish yourself as that trusted, not just engineer, right? But business advisor, right? Get into their business, ask them about their business, care about their business, give them guidance on where they should be going in their business from a technical perspective, right? From an information perspective. But that positions your customer, right? And then they come to you and they're asking for a thing, and let's just talk about the short list, right? Because there's like a long list too, but can you help me get cyber insurance? It's, can you help me with this security due diligence form, right? Which is sometimes the same thing as cyber insurance. Sometimes it's not. It's, I'm super scared about this regulatory exercise that the auditor's showing up on Monday or whatever, like, help, we have to start with customer trust, right? Piercing the veil between them trusting you as an engineer and them trusting you as a business advisor, right? They need to trust you with giving them great advice on business management as it pertains to technology, compliance, information handling, right? Their business processes. Ask them questions, right? See how their business processes and their industry's compliance requirements map both to the standards of their industry or what's normal in the industry, right? But also to the services that you provide, and use some methodology to explain to them about what's missing, particularly when those pressure points come, right? They're looking for cyber insurance, they have a breach, they need help with security due diligence, right? That's the time to work on that risk assessment, right? Show them what's missing, be brutally honest with them about what you are not providing. Don't be afraid, right? They will understand you haven't built a bank vault around them, right? Everyone gets it that huge companies that spend a lot of money on security are breached, and they do understand that if you spend more in smart ways, if you invest more, that you will be safer. They understand that already. You don't have to tell them that. What you need to tell them is something credible about how to get from A to B, right? And then deliver them those solutions based on whatever that standard is, right? And it may be the shiny firewall, right? Or it may just be, some reporting, a process that happens every few weeks. And the process that happens every few weeks is great for an MSP, right? That's people time. That's your people time as an MSP. And that's where you guys make your money.